Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to show you how you can lesson plan using a 99-cent journal. I know it can be really hard to find the right lesson planner, and I'm kind of like this where I'm constantly dipping back and forth to see what's right for me. And sometimes the simplest things are the best things. So I am just going to give you a really easy, brief overview. It's going to be real quick about how I organize this, somewhat organize it, and you guys can get an idea of how you can use a simple notebook to just organize your homeschool life. So I find this the easiest to break into quarters, and that way you have plenty of time to change things up, because if you go by semester, sometimes all the things don't really get done and they roll into the next semester, or you just kind of change your mind in the middle of a semester, and it just makes it easier to do it by quarters. That way, if anything changes, you could just rip this out and rewrite it, or you can just go to the next page and rewrite these out, cross them out, however you want to do it. So this is my example, homeschool quarter 1. And we have Bible, language arts, math, science, art. I like having it a little bit color coded. That way it's just easier to read. You don't have to do that. Scripture, memory, navigating friendships. So that was through Not Consumed. And then language arts, I put that their core curriculum was going to be the good and the beautiful, and that's what they ended up starting out with at the beginning of the year. And then paragraph/story writing, so that's just an extra thing that I wanted them to be working on. And then I put supplementary down here. You guys can see that. We put Tom Sawyer with review, and then Harry Potter with review, and that was just kind of feeding into their paragraph and story writing after we were reading the chapters. Moving into math, I put the core curriculum, and then I put this little arrow just so it looks a little bit neater, so the good and the beautiful for math again. And then I put the supplementary, so in case they need something, I put anything that they're using for math under in that same category. Prodigy, Khan Academy, multiplication flashcard games. For their science, they also did the good and the beautiful geology. Art, we were studying Leonardo da Vinci. You could do something as simple as this. You can obviously change it up depending on what subjects you're doing yourself at home. So after you've written everything down in quarter 1 for all of your subjects and the different curriculum you like to cover in each of those subjects, you can turn the page. And then you would write every day, and then you could list all the subjects that are going to be an everyday subject. And then you could put the together loop. So then you would put anything that isn't going to be every day and everything that's going to loop. So maybe every Wednesday you're going to do science. Maybe every Thursday you're going to do history, or maybe you're going to switch it out. So every Wednesday it's either going to be history or science. Something like that, and that way you know what you're doing and your kids even know what to expect. So I put what the kids would like to learn about this year, and that way you kind of have a little bit of room or breakdown. I put my son and then my daughter, and if they are interested in specific things, specific subjects in history or in science, or if she just wants to learn something completely different than what we have here in these kinds of subjects, we can write it down here. Maybe she's really into guitar or whatever they are really interested in. We have room here, and then we can always come back to this and check mark off whenever we learned about it. Going into the next page, I kind of broke everything down so I could kind of see what everything was going to cost for the year. So I didn't end up getting all of this curriculum. This is the stuff that I was interested in doing. Didn't know if I would have time to do, but I wanted to make sure that I had somewhere so I didn't have to go back and forth with the websites again later on. For literature grammar, I put the IEW, which we didn't end up getting with the Fix-It grammar because we just stuck to the good and the beautiful. My daughter did a little bit of the at-home middle school, which is no cost. It's a free online curriculum. We also ended up going back to Time for Learning, and they really enjoy that. We're probably going to save IEW for next year. For history, our 50 states. So we didn't get to this. We ended up going with Tuttle Twins instead. So this page is really just getting a overview cost of everything that we would want to do and being realistic with our budget pretty much. So then I started rewriting it just so you guys could see what we ended up actually doing. And then on the back page, I wrote out some of the books that we wanted to go through: The Little Prince, The Penderwicks, Last Kids on Earth, Whatever After books, The Book Wanderers, Resistance, The Giver, The Mysterious Benedict Society. These are just some of the basic books that we knew we wanted to get to. So you can feel free to just put, you know, a couple or more than that. And this is the example of quarter 2. So all the subjects again written here: Bible. I just added book underneath because then we started doing book studies, geography, art, science, history, math, language arts, and logic. So again, from quarter to quarter, it can change. So that's kind of why I like breaking it down this way. And then if you make a mistake or something changes, it's so easy to fix it and not feel bad because it's inside of a planner and maybe you feel like you wasted that page, where all the pages obviously in here are the same. So for Bible, I put Hero Tales and Becoming a Servant, which is, again, not consumed ministries. I love them. Our book was The Little Prince Unit Study and The Penderwicks. And then geography was our 50 states, which we're still going through. We will be going through for the rest of the year. Art was 13 American artists and 13 photos and movements in art realism and impressionism. Our science has been astronomy and experiments throughout our whole year lately. We're just going to start changing that up. And history, we've been going through World War II quite a lot, and we were going to move on, but the kids have actually really been liking going through World War II type things. So we've just been expanding it more, but we were also adding the Tuttle Twins American history to that. And then for math, we're doing Time for Learning and Learn Math Fast for my daughter. And we're also adding Prodigy. If you guys haven't heard of Prodigy, it is so good. It's just an extra added thing where it's pretty much games, but with math, and you can choose like characters, fight dragons, and in order to fight this dragon or fight these things, you have to get math problems right, and it gives you a whole breakdown of how your child is doing in math. It is so good. So if you guys haven't heard of it, it's a free program, but you can do the paid version, which is what we do. They play it often enough where it's beneficial to me in getting that breakdown of how they're doing math-wise, and they think it's so fun, which is a plus. And then what they do for language arts is Time for Learning. They have a vocabulary workbook that my daughter's going to start, and then 100 writing lessons and cursive. So they've just been practicing penmanship, cursive, stuff like that. And then logic is The Fallacy Detective, which I'm excited for my daughter to start. It looks like a really good book. I wanted her to start that the first quarter, but I got it from, I think it was like, I don't know if it's Abe Books. It's a used online bookstore, and I thought it would be fine, but more than half of it was already written in, and it was in pen and we couldn't erase it. So I ended up having to send it back and just order it off of Amazon. So now she's going to be starting that for quarter 2 instead. And then on the back, I just wrote more of the books, and I haven't finished this, but these are just some of the books that we want to be going through for quarter 2, which is Tales of a Fourth Grade Nothing for my son. So all these are going to be for my son. These are for my daughter down here. Frindle, my daughter's already read most of these up here. Mr. Limoncello, A Place to Hang the Moon, and Spy School. And then for my daughter, The Babysitter's Club, she loves that series, so I'm just going to have her read some more of that. The New Girl, Little Women, which she actually ended up already reading for the first quarter. And then Call of the Wild, and I think that that will be a fun one. And then I was going to write down together books so that when we sit down and we read books together for like our read alouds, I was gonna maybe have that somewhere down here. And I was thinking of the book Hatchet maybe, and I was thinking I would either have them read that individually because I heard that was a really good book. I haven't read it, but I'm so curious about it, so I'm thinking we're probably just gonna have it as a read aloud. And then one of the other things that I wanted to share was in the back of the book, I really like to make some room. I'll probably just have, I don't know, It's probably like 5 pages. You probably don't need that many pages. But at the very back, I like to make a curriculum wish list. And that way, as you're going through the different years and different quarters, as you're seeing different curriculum that you think would go good with your family, you could be writing it down here. And then you can always just flip to the back whenever you're trying to think of the next quarter or two and you're trying to plan. Then you have everything already here for you. And I also make room toward the front or the back just for very basic requirements, just to remember, depending on what state you're in. I live in Illinois, so it's pretty loose until high school. So I just wanted to put my reminder on here. My daughter's only in middle school, so I don't really need this up here, but I like to have it just as a reference. So high school graduation requirements, ELA, math, science, social studies, art, music, language arts, and it tells you like how many years or credits that you need. Right after that, I do like to keep a very large list. Things that you could be teaching your kids that would be really fun, that could be valuable. It just makes it so much easier. Sometimes when I'm trying to think like, what else would I like to teach them? What kind of outside resources or classes would I like to put them in? So I wanted to read off just a few of these. They can be things like chemistry, genetics, biology, botany. It could also be journal writing, religion, economics, nutrition, textiles, visual art, business, music, history, accounting, statistics, forensics. I know that my kids would love that. Journalism, my daughter would love. Government, politics, pharmacology, entrepreneurship. I've seen some unit studies on entrepreneurship and I was kind of interested in those. Information technology. My son would go crazy over that, even though he's only 9. He does like things like that. Archaeology, marine biology. We actually did a small unit study on that and it was really fun. Psychology, my daughter's super interested in stuff like that. Software design, web design, veterinary science, law, marketing, philosophy, meteorology, speech. Let's see, music production. See, art, color theory, photography, Bible history, church history, discipleship, personal finance, STEM, woodworking, health and wellness, homestead, survival. My kids want to do things like that, like living off the land and a little bit more like survival type skills as well. There's just so much that you can incorporate into your child's learning. It's so awesome. So there you have it. That is how you organize your homeschool year in a 99-cent journal. I hope that helped you guys out and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.